I'm back. Let's do this. You know how it goes down. Based on the facts and the facts only. So let's get this. You see at the top? Yeah, that's the former mayor. And the individual he's talking to is the former head of the agency. Now the gentleman just below him just happens to be the union president, who also happens to be a hospital police captain. Check it out. From the same facility where all this nonsense went on. Now, the individual underneath him is what you call his grievance coordinator, who's a litigations attorney. Litigations attorney. Let that sink in. You're an attorney, right? So you took an oath, right? And then you got that nobility from the queen, right? Under the bar, right? You're under that 13th Amendment, too. Yeah, that falls right into your ballpark. So you're the trustee, right? You know, you signed on for the union. You're the trustee who's supposed to work for the best interest of the benefit of the beneficiary, right? The client is the beneficiary, right? So let's get to the fact of you going inside. Let's just go there. 40 Rector, right? Where they do the collective bargaining. You know, that's where they have the oath court at. And you're coming through the door. You see the receptionist and you walk straight over to the opposing attorney and you tell her, oh, you got this. You got this one. It takes the receptionist to look at you and then to look at your client watching you in action. And it made her get up out of her seat. We're going to always talk about this. She had to get up out of her seat and come over to you and inform you that your client was standing on the side looking right at you. That was to try to keep it fair. All right? But it's real simple because that 40 Rector, you know those little black bubbles they have up top for security purposes? They can roll that digital tape back at any time and see you in midstream, in action in what you did. Now let's go. Let's go. So the officer tells you, especially when he went to, what's that? Union, the facility. When he came to the union and he told you that he had an open EEO case in reference to this situation as far as violation of Title 18 and violation of U.S. Code 42. Basically being deprived of a right and a privilege that he already had for 2.5 years or 2 years in a month prior to the probationary being hired. Right? But your grievance coordinator is already in bed and was like, I didn't want to hear that. How you don't want to hear that if you're the trustee? If you're the trustee, how you not want to hear that? If you're the trustee, you getting paid for a service under signed contract agreement, and you don't want to hear what your client is telling you, then boom, that's what they said under the 13th Amendment. All right, where you don't represent your clients, you pledge to the court and to the crown. Yeah, and it was all about getting that surety bond and whatever. Yeah, that goes to show that it's real. You showed and proved your actions. Your action proved that it was real. So let's just get at that. And the president is from Woodhall. Let that sink in. If the president is from Woodhall and he still holds his shield as a captain and still on payroll, then that would make the probationary assistant deputy director his boss. Let's not forget that the executive director is also the senior vice president of the organization. She's just working out of Woodhall, but she's the senior vice president of the organization. So when you go and you file with, or you make a complaint with DOI, Department of Investigations, under Mayor Executive Order number 16, there's the mayor, his Executive Order number 16, that you're supposed to report all illegal activities like this. In corruption, right? It's supposed to, how would you say? When you report it to DOI goes back and tells not the head of HHC, but he goes back and tells, because the head of HHC put the senior vice president in charge. So he goes back and tells the senior vice president, this is what's going on. But she's already aware because she's covering Woodhall. And it's at her facility. Right? Right. So let's just throw this all underneath the table. We're going to make this disappear. But you can't. Why? The probation assistant deputy director did this to 3 separate officers on 3 separate occasions, meaning he used his vehicle in a threatening manner. Then he also, let's go to that Title 18. He also abused it when, now he didn't just try to force one officer out of that facility, out of that parking lot. He also forced another officer out of the parking lot and made him go park in the transportation lot. It just so happened that this officer, senior officer, not having it. Under signed contract agreement, not having it. Show your probable cause. Show your justifiable means. You have none. So this was just an act of retaliation because of what occurred on July 17th when you use your vehicle in a reckless endangerment manner or a reckless driving manner towards the officer by means of menacing. Yeah, because you was menacing. You wanted to intimidate him, right? And then when you backed up off the officer, when the officer was trying to leave, you blocked him in. And then you started your, integration? That's what you got from NYPD? Your integration? Oh, what are you doing parking here? Let's get this straight, pal. If you're the, how would you say? You said probationary assistant deputy director. If you're the assistant deputy director, you could go downstairs and pull up the files on any, you said you was in charge of it, right? You could go downstairs and pull up the files without using your car in a reckless endangerment manner, while acting in a disorderly manner, not without, how would you say? What was that? 19500 in official misconduct, not acting in that type of manner. You could go downstairs to find the information. But you was on an ego trip and you wanted to abuse your powers. No biggie. Notice the officer, once he became calm, cool, and collective, get it? Calm, cool, and collective, sat there and collected everything you did. All right? And then documented in the memo book. Is that the reason why you had the 201 captain go and tell the officer to turn in all his memo books because a sergeant who was sitting in the 124 heard the officer talk to another officer at 2-1 and said that he had documented everything they have done? He documented everything they had done in the memo book, and they would still sign the memo books like, well, this is going nowhere. No biggie. Remember, the memo book is an accusatory instrument, right? And anything you sign or you write is legal contract, right? Right. So let's just go back to the fact of you was on probation for a year. And with all this illegal activity, please explain to us, Mr. Bragg, of how you did over 50 people, right? How did you stay on the job when you violated your probation within 3 months? How did you stay employed? You got to use what they use.